Okay, you are very welcome to this evening's free online masterclass. Now, I am going to present to you for the next hour, and there is going to be a ton of information in this masterclass. So really get your notebooks out and make sure you're taking plenty of notes, because there is going to be so much information. I actually had to go through the presentation file again and take out some stuff to really condense it down into the hours. So I'm going to get through as much as I can in 1 hour, and I'm going to leave a couple of minutes at the end to do a Q&A if anybody has any questions as well for me. Okay. Now, I do appreciate it's a summer evening and everyone has a busy life and it's a Monday evening. So I really do want to acknowledge you for taking time out and coming on here today. And I really do respect your time. So we're going to get straight into this. We're going to dive straight in. And we're going to talk about five different areas in your life, or 5 different ways, 5 strategies that you can look at to improving your overall sleep and ultimately your whole life as well. Now, this webinar is for you. If you have read all the books, all the sleep books and everything that can help you with sleep and it hasn't worked, and you've done everything that you're supposed to do, or maybe you've tried exhausting yourself. So maybe you're one of those people who have gone on a long jog before bedtime and ended up being wired and tired, so not being able to sleep. Or maybe you just want to know what it is that you just need to do to get a good night's sleep, and you're feeling sick and tired always of not getting a good night's sleep. Now, this webinar is not for you if you do not enjoy getting a good night's sleep regularly. And you know, there are people out there that are not bothered about when they go to bed and getting enough sleep. They just feel fine as they are. They're coping fine. And there are people like that. So I really want to, drive home how people are thinking about sleep. So we're going to be going through that as well, and the whole perspective of sleep. So if you don't enjoy getting a good night's sleep, then this webinar is not for you. And maybe you're not prepared to make any changes, because we have to make changes to our habits and how we're doing things if we want to get a change or have a different result. Or maybe you'd rather wait for your sleep routine to come back on its own, which doesn't happen because it does take some kind of an action for things to change. And or maybe you're just not interested in all this free, amazing information I'm going to give you tonight. And I'm also going to give you an offer at the end of this talk as well, because I do have an online program. So I am going to let you know a little bit about it, because there just isn't enough time in 1 hour to go through all that I can go through to help you implement a new way of life, a new way of being, and ultimately sleeping better and having a happier and healthier life. Now, just before we begin, if everyone can turn off their mobile phones, because mobile phones are a major distraction. So turn off your phones, just give me this hour, and for yourself as well, so that you can really focus on the information, because there's going to be a lot of information here, okay? And use the chat box as well beside you there. Use the chat box and type in any questions that you have at all, and I will answer them at the very end, just so as I can keep focused and keep on track. And if for any reason sound disappears or anything like that happens, an interruption, just log off and log back in again, or just leave it for a few moments. Usually that does help. I'm after checking sound, and you can see the screen okay. So what are you going to get out of this webinar, this masterclass? Well, look, you're going to get 100% crystal clear on why sleep is so important, because many people have looked at their food and exercise as being important to be healthy, but sleep has been the missing link. And we need to get crystal clear on why sleep is so important, number one, so to educate you, but also that you realize how important it is, because you will take some kind of an action to, when you realize and understand what sleep can do for you, then you're going to make it a priority. So you're also going to get the 5 strategies as well, or 5 different areas that you can start to improve that will also improve your night's sleep as well. And you're going to get a real insight into what it takes to get yourself sleeping, so that you can have the best night's sleep you've ever only dreamed of. And my promise to you is tonight, you are going to walk away with actionable steps to get yourself sleeping tonight. So I'm going to give you some challenges, if you like, and things that you can actually do tonight that will start getting you sleeping better. Now, So just, I'm going to tell you, if it's okay, just a tiny little bit about myself, just so as you know where I'm coming from and why sleep is so important to me. So I am a certified sleep science coach, an author and a speaker and an online trainer. My book, How to Get a Good Night's Sleep, is a bestseller. And I have been an award winner as well. I've won awards with Microbiz, and I've been a finalist with Microbiz as well, and with Women in Business, and who else? There's somebody else now I can't think of, but I've been in a few awards and been up for nominations, and I've appeared several times on radio and TV as well, and newspapers and magazines, and I'm married, and I've had 3 children over the course of my lifetime, and my youngest daughter is Leah. She's in the picture there. Unfortunately, I lost Megan, she died in 2007, and ultimately that is where all the change in my life occurred after the death of Megan. And I really I was at my lowest point, and when you're at your lowest point, it's really a time when you start to question an awful lot of things in life, and that's exactly what I did. And I found a new way of living holistically and looking at things in a different way, so in a different view, and really appreciating a lot more in life as well. And then sleep came into it when I met Pat Slattery, and he was my mentor for 2 years, and he said, you've got to write a book. So I wrote the book, How to Get a Good Night's Sleep, because when I was doing all my holistic therapies and Reiki and lots of things like that, I identified that a lot of my clients were absolutely exhausted, and they weren't sleeping great, and there was a lot of people. So I realized that was a pain point, if you like, or something that really needed to be addressed. And when I wrote the book, oh my God, the amount of information that I learned and came across in my research, I just thought this has got to be, I have got to share this with people and let people know how important your sleep really is to all areas in your life, all levels of your being, your relationships, everything. It is so, so important. So I help you now to really get better sleep so that you can live a healthier and happier life, because ultimately at the end of the day, when you sleep better, your life is going to be a whole lot better as well. You're going to have more energy and less stress. And there is so much stress in the world today as well. And really, things are going to happen, life is going to happen, but it's about our resilience to all these things, and also having a different perspective on things as well. So I'm really passionate about educating and inspiring people. So inspiring, not motivating you, but inspiring you. So giving you a reason as to why you want to sleep well, to have a better life and a happier life. And it's really all about empowering you, because everybody is different. Everybody has their own way of doing things, or their own things that they like to do, because this is not about forcing you to do things that you don't like. This is, you got to enjoy the process as well. So ultimately it's about taking back control of your life as well with better sleep. And these are some of the people that I've met along the way. Pat Slattery is in the middle there. That was my mentor for a couple of years. Colin O'Brien, Mattress Mick is in the bottom there. And I've been on a lot of radio interviews there. You can see some photographs. And Donna Kennedy, Brian Tracy I met as well a couple of years ago. Dr. Gloria and Giovanelli, Mary Kennedy. So lots of people I've met along the way doing my network. And here's lots of places that I've been involved with, or interviews. Toastmasters, I'm a member of Toastmasters as well. And in a lot of newspapers. So that's pretty much a bit about me, and my mission really now is to empower as many people as I can to sleep better, so that they're going to live a healthier and a happier life. And ultimately, this does not just stop with you as an individual. If you're a lot happier, you have a lot more energy, if your mood is better, it's going to rub off on other people around you as well. So it's going to have a ripple effect. So it's absolutely huge. It really is so powerful. I can't even begin to really tell you how much of an impact it will have on your life. So the 5 strategies for sleep success, we're going to talk about understanding sleep, why it's so important to understand something, because when you have the knowledge and the understanding, you'll respect it a little bit more. We're going to talk about the impact of stress and how stress can have an impact on how well we sleep at night and getting to sleep and staying asleep during the nighttime. We're going to have a look at A little bit about sleep, the science behind sleep. So, the inner workings of it, what happens, our brain waves, what goes on in the brain. When we're talking about sleep problems, so what kind of sleep problems you can encounter. And you can encounter sleep problems over various different stages of your life, or depending on your age. And it could be an external problem as well. So we're going to have a look at that. And then we're going to have a look at your environment. So your environment is, it really is going to determine your state of being, how your mood is, how easy it is for you to be able to wind down and relax. And we're going to talk about your sleep environment as well as your outdoor everyday environment as well. So understanding sleep. So this is probably one of the most important parts of starting to make a change in anything, and because you've got to understand how something works. You got to understand the process. So in order to do anything well, we must first understand the process. So this is really ultimately really important. It's like driving a car. So if you're driving a car, you need to understand what the clutch is for. You need to understand what the accelerator is for. And the mechanics basically, and how it all works together. And when you understand that, you'll know which button that you need to press in order to make something happen or to get the best results out of it. Well, it's exactly the same with sleep. So you need to understand, what your body needs to sleep well, what your body needs, and how your daytime can impact how well you sleep at night. You need to understand the hormonal function when it comes to sleep and your circadian rhythm. I'm sure that many of you have had a day where you just felt out of sync, you just felt out of sorts, and that might have been from an extremely late night or a party, or jet lag is another one as well, where we can get out of sync. And I think nearly everyone has experienced that at some stage. So when you understand all of this, then you can identify what the problem is, and then you can be clear and you can do something about it. So understanding sleep is really important, and understanding how you view sleep as well. So this is a lovely quote from Napoleon Hill, and he talks about when you want to win anything in life, you've got to know what the purpose is. So you got to know what it is that you want and why you want it. And then the knowledge as well. So you have to have an understanding and a burning desire as well to possess it. So you really have got to want, you've got to want it. You've got to really want a good night's sleep and really a happier and a healthier life. And, if you can visualize this, then you're halfway there. So really important, again, with knowledge and purpose. So how do you view your sleep? What's your perspective of sleep? And it's different for everybody. And really, we need to start being aware of the language that we're using when it comes to sleeping as well. A lot of people will say, really, Joanne, I think sleep is a waste of time. It really is. Like, you're only lying down and you're when you're tired, go to bed when you're tired, and you're grand the next day. There's nothing to it. I only need 5 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep. Some people even said, I'm sure I can get by on 4 hours of sleep, as if it's a badge of honor or something, and I don't know, there's a lot of people that seem to be defensive about only getting 4 hours of sleep. And really, these people who have gone under tests like sleep lab tests, anyone who've slept for 4 hours or who have been sleep deprived, there's been a lot of studies and trials done that show even if you only sleep for 4 or 5 hours, it can show markers in your immune system, in your blood, your brainwave activity. There's lots that these sleep lab tests can tell, and it shows up on the tests. And so it's actually happening on a physiological level, even though you say, I'm fine. So what is your perspective on sleep? How are you thinking about sleep? Are you saying things like, I don't have time for sleep, or it's a waste of time? Or are you saying things like, oh, I have to get a particular job done before I go to bed, like cleaning the kitchen? And that's one my mother always done. She wouldn't go to bed until the kitchen was clean. So that was a priority for her. So sleep wasn't a priority. So what is it that you are saying? Are you being cynical of sleep? Are you saying things like, God, I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll have plenty of time then to sleep. And people joke about that. But there is truth and there's energy in words that we're using. So just start to be mindful of how you're thinking about sleep, and maybe try and change that. That's all I'm saying. Try and change, because there is energy in what we're saying, and in everything in life, not just about sleep. We need to be careful of, how we're saying things as well. So why is sleep so important? Well, there's a lot of healing and repairing that's done when we're in a deep phase of sleep. So there's a physical restoration been carried out, especially on the immune system, in the cardiovascular system. There's lots of restoration, healing and repairing been done. And also there's a lot that goes on in our brain. There's a lot of cleaning up been done in the brain, and a lot of storing and filing away with our memory and learning as well. So we need a really good night's sleep to enhance our memory and our learning. And you may have heard of teenagers when they're doing their Leaving Cert exams, they may stay up at night cramming, only for the next day that they just get blocks. They get a complete block. And that's because the brain that has not been, the information that they've learned has not been filed away, and also they cannot recall the information. Because when you're tired, different areas of your brain light up and different areas of your brain close down. So this is what happens when we're tired and when we're sleep deprived. So it's really important for learning and memory as well. And it also clears a lot of toxins in the brain, and this has been linked to Alzheimer's, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. Also mood regulation too. So if you have ever had very little sleep, you'll wake up the next day really cross or narky or irritable, really irritable. So like anything can trigger you. So, and then it rubs off for everyone else in the family and even your children. So, imagine if everyone was to wake up in good form, and how much of a happier place your family home would be. And also the immune system as well. So when you don't sleep well, your immune system is impeded as well. So you may find that if you have a lot of colds and you can't seem to shake it, the doctor always says go home and get plenty of fluids and plenty of rests. And this is what the immune system needs when we're feeling sick, especially after an operation or if we're in recovery or whatever. We need a lot more rest. So your immune system really needs to be strong. So here's what happens when we don't get enough sleep. Just take a drink of water there. So when we don't get enough sleep, our immune system is weakened. So if you are sleep deprived for up to 5 hours, and this has been shown on tests, your immune system is reduced by 70%. So these are all your antibodies, all your antibodies that have been built up at night time. So your body can only make these antibodies when you're in a state of rest, because your body is busy doing other things when you are awake and doing things, or digesting food or doing your daily activities, because your body is in a state of stress. Now, we're always in a state of stress, but it's when we're in excess, we have excess stress or stress at the wrong times. This is where the problem is. So when we're eating food, the body is in a state of stress because it's doing something, but it's a normal stress. But when the body is overloaded with toxins, for example, this is excess stress. The body is trying to rid these toxins, and if we're not resting enough, the body's not able to detoxify itself. So the circulatory system, so coronary arteries can have more of a risk of being blocked and plaque building up when we're not resting. So we're not healing and repairing, we're not allowing that to happen. And it can lead you to having a higher risk of heart attack and stroke and diabetes as well. And coming on to the blood sugar as well. So when we are sleep deprived, our body is craving for glucose because it needs more energy. So it's craving for the wrong types of food. And also the hunger hormones are activated as well. They're all out of sync. So your blood sugar is out of sync as well. And this is another cause of diabetes, especially over long term, when it's repeatedly been done. And this can lead to weight gain as well. And also your hormones at nighttime, when you're in a deep phase of sleep, the hormones that have been released, these are fat-burning hormones. So I do actually do a separate talk on sleep and weight gain, because there's a lot of scientific research been done on people who do not sleep very well, or people who deliberately deprive themselves of sleep, are more prone to weight gain. And then the more you're prone to weight gain and obesity, again, you're at higher risk again of diabetes, type 2 diabetes. So it really is something, and this can happen over, it doesn't necessarily happen over a week. It's long term. So if you're continuously, so if you have a habit of sleeping poorly, then this can lead to all these higher risks. Also Alzheimer's. So we have a toxin in our brain, and the toxin is actually literally cleared out at night time when we are sleeping. It's a beta amyloid. So the tissues in the brain actually shrink, and this allows the fluid, the cerebral spinal fluid, to flush out the brain literally, and getting rid of all these toxins. So this is a contributory factor to Alzheimer's, and it's only been realised in the last number of years. There's a lot of tests been done on this, and it has been shown in patients with Alzheimer's, these clusters of these beta amyloids in the brain. And then also, when we're sleep deprived, it's going to lead to more depression and anxiety, because our emotional centre is on more of a higher alert, if you like, because we're sleep deprived, we're tired, our reaction times are going to be a lot slower, and our amygdala, the emotional centre in the brain, is going to be on a higher alert, and this is what contributes to depression and anxiety, and it can be a double-edged sword as well. So if you're lacking in sleep, it can make you depressed, or if you're depressed over some event in your life, this can cause you not to be able to sleep as well. So I want you to imagine waking up first thing in the morning. What's the atmosphere like in your house? Is there anybody who hasn't slept well in the last week or two maybe, and who's woke up kind of irritable, maybe like this fella here, and he just doesn't want anyone to talk to him. He wants people just to leave him alone, give them space. He wants to have his cup of coffee first, or it could be a her, could be a she, the cup of coffee first before anything has been done, and no questions, don't even talk to me. So I've seen this has happened in my household as well. So it does happen quite an awful lot. It may be a funny slide, but it can be quite serious when this is happening ongoing on a regular basis as well, because it can really rub off, and especially if there's children in the house as well. So just something to be mindful of. So let's have a look at the physical health of the body and what happens physically when we don't get enough sleep. So I spoke about the blood sugar levels. So at nighttime, one of the problems when people wake up during the nighttime is low blood sugar levels. And this happens because you may have had some cakes or biscuits or sweets before going to bed, or a lot of carbs, because carbohydrates, especially like the likes of white pasta and that, or white bread, they convert to glucose very quickly. And when you have a spike in your blood sugar levels, what comes after that but a crash? So you get your crash. And when this happens during the nighttime, the crash goes below borderline. So when it goes below borderline, whatever your borderline is, your set point, your cortisol kicks in, and it allows more glucose to go into the bloodstream. And this rise in glucose and also the cortisol being activated, because cortisol is our get up and go hormone. So when this happens, this is what is causing you to become awake, to wake up. So you've got higher levels of cortisol going around in the bloodstream. The hormonal balance, so testosterone and the growth hormone, we absolutely need the growth hormone for growth and repair, for all the healing, and children especially need the growth hormone for all the growing that they're doing and all the development that they're doing, especially teenagers as well when they're going through puberty. The growth hormone is also a fat burning hormone as well. And the immune system, so there's lots of inflammation in the body, and this is a normal process, but it's when there's too much inflammation, this is what causes problems. So like arthritis or knee pain or any kind of joint pain, inflammation. And part of the immune system, the job of that when we're sleeping is, again, it detoxifies the body, detoxifies out any toxins in the body, but also the inflammation as well as part of the detoxification process. And it's really important that the body is able to detoxify and reduce down the inflammation, because behind every single disease in the body, there's some element of inflammation. So really we need to keep the inflammation as low as possible. The gut health as well, the gut flora, our microbiome is so important in our gut health. This is our good bacteria, and our gut is connected to our brain. It's through the vagus nerve. It's called the enteric nervous system, and our microbiome is a really important part of this connection. We produce 90% of serotonin in our gut, and also melatonin, which is our sleep hormone, is available 400 times more than what's produced in the pineal gland in the brain. So our gut health is really important. So this is all the physical health of the body, and this is it's impactful when we get a good night's sleep. It really benefits all these areas. Now, a study from the journal Sleep Disorders in 2014, there was 2,000 participants. And the results showed that people who slept for less than 5 hours a night, they were more likely to be clinically identified as having prediabetes. And that's quite a significant figure. And testosterone, a recent study founded by the National Heart, Lung and Blood Institute, they found testosterone levels dropped significantly in men who don't get enough sleep. And it was 15%, but this 15% was equivalent to aging 10 to 15 years. So when the testosterone levels are dropped. And we know we need testosterone for energy and for concentration and to give us energy and strength. So when we have deficiency, we're going to have lower energy, poor concentration, a lot more fatigue, and a lot less power or strength. Now, the brain function. So it's really important that we look after our brain, because our brain controls everything and it's part of the nervous system. And the brain really, with all the neurons and the nervous system, it sends out signals and commands to all the other bodily functions like our hormones. So our nervous system is, if you want to look at it in terms of a hierarchy, our nervous system is on top because it governs over everything else like our hormones, our circulation, our immune system. So the nervous system and the brain function is really super important. So our emotions and our behavior are affected when we don't get enough sleep. So there's certain areas of the brain that shut down or don't work as well when we are sleep deprived. And our amygdala is more sensitive by up to 60%. So this is what's making us more irritable, and any little trigger can just get us going. So when we know this, it can have a massive impact on how we're feeling and how we're being, and then how we're relating to other people as a result. Our response and our reaction times are slowed down a lot more when we're sleep deprived. And this has an impact when it comes to an increased risk in injuries. So if we're driving a car or if we're driving any heavy machinery or anything like that, and our response times to any danger will be a lot slower as well, giving a higher risk for injuries. Literally clears the brain, which we spoke about, clearing the brain of all those toxins, and then the learning and memory as well. So when we're in a deep phase of sleep, everything that we've learned that day is being consolidated into our long-term memory. Now, there was a study done at the School of Medicine in the University of Pennsylvania, and it took only a small group of five students, and they were sleep deprived for up to 24 hours. And they had a reduction in their learning and memory by up to 40%. So that's a pretty significant number with lack of sleep. Now, holistic health. So holistic health, sleep is part of our lifestyle, but there is other areas as well. So food, good healthy food, our exercising, and also stress management as well is really important. So with our stress management, how we are during the daytime is going to determine how well we are going to sleep at nighttime as well. So if we're having a really stressful day, it's going to take us a lot longer to wind down at nighttime, and also it's going to cause us more anxiety as well, and maybe depression. So really managing our stress is really, really super important. And we can start our day off with a morning routine that will really help us to be on a very high level. So I always say start your day off with an attitude of gratitude, and this really raises your vibration, it raises your energy, and the rest of the day goes through with ease. Like, life happens, but it's how we respond to what happens. We have control over what happens, and this is what we need to take control of. So stress management is a really important factor as well. Exercise, well, we know exercise helps us to keep us fit, but exercise also gets the circulation moving, gets the lymph moving, all the detoxification process, but it also produces feel-good hormones, or serotonin. And we know serotonin is a precursor for melatonin, our sleep hormone. So we need serotonin to help us be in good mood, to get through the day, and also to help in that making of the melatonin. Exercise first thing in the morning is a great way to keep in sync with your circadian rhythm. So exercising first thing in the morning, you're getting out and you're getting exercise, you're getting the fresh air. So this switches off the melatonin, the sunshine, switches off the melatonin. Your cortisol levels are at its highest first thing in the morning. Naturally, they are at its highest. And melatonin is naturally at its highest in the evening time when we are getting ready for bed and going to sleep for the night. Food, so we need certain foods, we need all our nutrients, we need our vitamins, we need our minerals. 85% of people are deficient in magnesium, so eating rich magnesium foods would be super helpful. Also, foods that contain melatonin, there's a great one, tart cherry juice is a good one to drink throughout the day to get your melatonin levels up. And melatonin, by the way, is an antioxidant, really a major antioxidant, melatonin. So we do need melatonin, and melatonin helps with the anti-aging as well. So these are other lifestyle factors that combined together can really enhance how well we sleep at night time. Now, a little bit on how sleep actually works. So we sleep in different stages. So each cycle, we go through about 5 cycles every night, and each cycle has 5 stages in them. This diagram now shows 3 stages and then REM sleep, but stage 3 is often broken down into 2 stages. So the first stage of sleep is when you're feeling tired. You're still conscious, but you're feeling tired. It's when you're having maybe those micro sleeps, or if you're watching a film and you find yourself dozing off. This is stage 1. Stage 2 is when it gets a little bit deeper, and you start to switch off from the external world. So you switch off from any noises or any senses. So that's switching off from the external world, and it goes a lot deeper. And then we go into stage 3. We go into stage 3 after about 60 minutes or so. And this is where the deep sleep is. And the growth hormone, of course, is released here, and all the healing, repairing. This is probably one of the most important stages of sleep. Now, REM sleep is really important for our mental and emotional health. REM sleep is often associated with dream sleep. So this is where we dream, and everybody dreams. Some people come to me and say, I don't dream. It's because you don't remember. But everybody has to dream. It's part of the rhythm of sleep, and everybody dreams. It's part of how your brain processes emotions of the day, and also there's a part of that anything that you've learned, it consolidates memory as well. So REM sleep is really important for your mental and emotional health as well. And here's a little chart of some of the brain waves. So we see the gamma and the beta waves. So this is when we are awake and we're alert, when we're concentrating. And then the alpha waves is when we're in stage 1 of sleep. Now, alpha waves have also been associated with relaxation or mindfulness, mindful meditations. So alpha waves have been associated with that as well. Mindfulness meditation is a very light, kind of like a light stage of sleep. You're still conscious of everything around you. And the purpose of mindfulness meditation is being able to focus or concentrate on something like a flame or your breathing. Your breathing is a very good, a good one for mindfulness meditation. Now the theta waves, this is where we're going into a deeper phase of sleep, but also in relation to meditations, we can get to this level as well in meditations. And this is probably involved in self-hypnosis or hypnotic states as well, where the brain is more suggestible. And theta waves is a deeper phase of sleep. Now the delta waves is when we're in stage 3. Delta waves is your deep phase of sleep, so it's a slow wave sleep. So sleep problems, there's a lot of sleep problems that people encounter over their lifetime. Some of them can be health issues, some can be non-health issues, some could be external factors that's causing problems. One that I hear a lot is snoring. Snoring is a big one. And I really focus in on the snoring for a reason, because if you have a loud chronic snore as your bed partner, it might be something to not ignore. Now I know with snoring, you can there's a few little things that you can do with the snoring, like sleeping on your side. Don't drink alcohol before you go to bed, because that relaxes the throat even more. So you don't want to drink alcohol if you're a snorer. Some other things that you can do, you can use some essential oils, and this humidifies the air. Use things like eucalyptus, helps to clear the airways. But if you're a really bad chronic snorer, you could be suffering from something called sleep apnea. Now, sleep apnea is a medical condition, and a lot of people are not aware that they may have this. So if you do have a loud chronic snore and your bed partner is telling you snore quite a lot, don't be dismissive of it. Maybe go and get it checked out. Just get a sleep lab test done, because you could be experiencing sleep apnea. Now, sleep apnea is a cessation of the breath, and this could happen up to 100 times during the night, where the breath, you may stop breathing for 10 seconds or maybe 20 seconds, and then you take a gulp of air, and this is when the brain is waking up. So you are actually periodically waking up out of a deep sleep quite a lot during the nighttime when this happens. So you are not actually getting proper good quality sleep. You're also depriving your brain of oxygen, and your brain absolutely needs oxygen for all the processes going on in the brain. So if this is going on over a long period of time, 10, 15 years, you can be at a higher risk for obesity, diabetes, heart attacks, all that kind of stuff, cardiovascular disease. So really, really, if you suspect sleep apnea, or if you're a loud chronic snorer, please go to your doctor and get referred for a sleep lab test and get it checked out. Now, environmental influences. So this involves your circadian rhythm. So your environment is a cue to your circadian rhythm. So first thing in the morning, we absolutely need sunshine. Sunshine switches off that melatonin, allows the cortisol to rise, because cortisol naturally rises first thing in the morning. And this is when we have most of our energy. This morning time is the best time to do anything physical, concentration, and in the afternoon, between the hours of 1 and 3 o'clock, this is where we would have kind of a lull, and this happens to everybody. A lot of people tend to go through the day 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock and work if you're working non-stop. Some people even work through their lunch break because they're trying to get more money. They want to get paid or whatever, or they've nobody to relieve them, causing more stress. We were never designed to be on the go like that. Like thousands of years ago when we evolved, through evolution, we took periodically, we had breaks. Now in countries like Spain, they have their siesta, where they have a quiet 2 hours in the afternoon. And really we need to start to slow down during the daytime. We can't be on the go. We will burn ourselves out. We will have adrenal fatigue before we know where we are. You're burning the candle at both ends. If you're on the go every single day, you need to be able to sit down for just 10 minutes and do nothing. A lot of people find that very difficult, and they feel guilty for sitting down doing nothing. They feel guilty that they're being lazy. We have to start to slow down because life is very busy at the moment and it's only going to get busier. And the way technology is in the world as well, we've more choice than ever before and it's creating a huge overwhelm. So we need to be able to slow down during the daytime and be mindful of this. And this is part of our biological rhythms. So there's nothing, you don't have to feel guilty about taking a rest for 10 minutes during the day, or even if your body is just feeling tired, just to sit down and listen to a podcast or watch something on TV or just sit down, have a cup of tea or read a book. Just do something quiet that's not energetic. We really have to start doing this and be mindful of it, and you'll feel so much better afterwards. Now, so some top tips. Morning routine, we spoke about that, getting some sunshine. Creating your wind down routine. You have to wind down before bedtime because sleep is not an on-off switch. It gradually, our core body temperature has to cool down, our heart rate has to slow down, everything has to slow down to enable the onset of melatonin, the sleep hormone. We need to turn our mobile phones off at least an hour or 2 hours before bed because the blue light from these screens, it switches off the melatonin. Now, I could do a whole hour talk on technology and mobile phones. Really super important. It stimulates the brain. It creates a rise in dopamine levels, which causes addiction. There's so much that's going on with mobile phones. But for now, turn off the mobile phone. Turn your phone onto flight mode as well at nighttime. Avoid caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine is a stimulant and it gives your body false energy. It takes a long time for your body to metabolize caffeine. And alcohol is a sedative, so it's dampening down the nervous system before you go to bed. A lot of people like to have a nightcap. And an odd one is okay, but if you're doing it all the time consistently, then you're not allowing your body to work the nervous system the way it's supposed to when it's winding down. The alcohol is doing that. So then your nervous system is going to forget how to do that. Basically, that's it in a nutshell. Alcohol also has an effect on your REM sleep as well. It blocks REM sleep to a certain extent as well. Waking up consistently, having a routine, waking up at the same time every day, even if it's the weekends. A lot of people like to have a lie on, but you need to try and keep your sleep as consistent as possible. People who do shift work, their biggest problem is they do 3 days on and off or something like that, and their body is all over the place. It keeps changing all the time, and this is the biggest detriment when it comes to shift work. And the World Health Organization has actually classed shift work as a probable class 2 carcinogen because of this. So you need to wake up at the same time every day, give your body consistency and routine, and this will really help to sink into that circadian rhythm. We need to be aligned to this circadian rhythm as much as possible, and then everything in the body will automatically flow. So in summary, because I want to take questions if I have, and I have a couple here actually. So in summary, we looked at why sleep is so important. Really, you need to have an understanding of what goes on with sleep, what could happen when we don't get enough sleep. And there's short-term effects, and your body is very forgiving. But as we grow older, our body is not as forgiving. And when we are consistently having these bad habits, this is when it creates problems long-term. And 15 years later, there's a lot of time, there's no going back. The damage has been done. So we really need to respect our health, respect our bodies, respect our sleep from an early age. It's okay to have an odd night here and there, but it's the consistency. We had to look at how stress impacts sleep, so how we start our day off and how resilient we are to stress as well, how this can have an impact on our anxiety levels and depression levels, and how it helps us with winding down at night time. We had a quick look at the science of sleep, some of the brain waves and what goes on, the sleep cycles, a whole lot more we could go into there. And I want to tell you about a program that I have now in just a few minutes that goes way more into depth. I literally only touched the surface on a lot of these areas. We had to look at problems, sleep problems, the what ifs. What if my partner snores, or what if my child is having night terrors, or sleepwalking, all these other problems I go into. Your environment, how your environment affects your sleep. So even your sleep environment. So good mattress, good pillow. You spend a third of your life in bed. You really need to have the good sleep equipment, clean bedroom, but also as less toxins throughout the day as possible. Now, toxins could be the food that you're eating. Toxin could be air pollution. Are you indoors an awful lot? 80 to 90% of us, we spend 80 to 90% of our time indoors. We need to get outside and get more fresh air. Your indoor air is more polluted than outside. So you need to get outside, get fresh air. You need your vitamin D as well and sunshine. And also then your sleep environment, so your bedroom as well, really important. So at this point, now that you've seen all the reasons why sleep can help you to really enhance your life, do you want to improve your life for the better with better sleep and live in a more holistic lifestyle as well? I mean, you could have happy children if you're in a better mood. Your children, it will rub off on your children. If you're happy, then your children are going to be happy. And this is so important for your child's health and for your child's mental health and mental well-being. And really our children are our next generation, and we need to be watching out for these. We are responsible for our children. Maybe in the workplace, you want to be able to collaborate more. You know, when you're tired, you're just not in the humour of helping anybody, or you just want to stay on your own or hide away and do as less work as possible. So in the work area, in your career, you could be more productive, be more creative, come up with problem-solving solutions, and have a great team around you as well, and really be impactful in the team that you're in, because teamwork is better than one person, and collaboration is really key to success, I think, these days. So this is your life. This is up to you. Nobody can do it for you, and everyone has a unique way of doing things, or things that they prefer to do, things that is more easier for them. You know, you want everything to be as easy as possible. And whatever it is that you like to do, you will find you don't need to be motivated. You're just inspired when it's something that you like, because it's coming from inside. Inspired is from the inside out. So you'll be more free. You'll be so much more free. You'll be happier. You'll have more productivity. You will get a lot more done when you sleep better. And it's your life. It's your life at the end of the day. And, you know, if your family will have an impact on this as well. So it's not just you, and on an individual level, this is all about other people and the ripple effect in the world as well. So the program I have, it's called, it's the Empowering Sleep Success Program. It is a 12-week live online program. There's 6 modules and 6 Q&As in this program. First module, Wake Up to Sleep. So we really go in depth here we talk a lot about emotional intelligence in here. And in the program, I actually have some extra videos, and this is new in this program that's starting in September. I've added these videos in as an extra. So it's all about emotional intelligence and why we really need to have this going forward for everything in life. And it's really about how we view things in life and how we understand things, and the words that we use are the energy that is contained in words, all about emotional intelligence, being able to empathize with other people as well. So all about connections and relationships, and how this can help to ease your life, less stress in your life. So Wake Up to Sleep is your first module. And then in module 2, we go in depth into foods, healthy foods that you need for good sleep. And you know what? There's no fad diets in here. It's just eating wholesome foods, eating foods that are grown, natural foods, no quick convenience foods or cakes and bits. It's proper foods that we should be eating, more vegetables and fruit. And a lot of our vegetables contain the fibres that we need and the nutrients and vitamins and all that. Stress management, I'm going to do a little bit on stress management as well, because that's really, really, really important. I'm going to give you a lot of techniques as well to help you with that, some tapping techniques, meditations. So there's lots of other techniques to help you with relaxation and winding down. We're also going to go in depth into exercising and all the physiological and mental effects as well connected to exercise. We're going to talk about the science of sleep more in depth, so really going in what's going on in the brain, the different parts of the brain that are active when we're asleep and also when we're awake as well, and how the brain works when it goes into this house cleaning kind of a mode at night time. That's a really, really interesting, the science of sleep. Module 4, then we're going to go into in more depth in the possible sleep problems that can come up in your lifetime. And then Module 5 is all about environmental influences. So including your bedroom environment and your external. We talk an awful lot about toxins in your environment as well in that one. The Module 6 is all about sleep hygiene. So the do's and the don'ts, and really getting into good habits. So practicing good habits that can help you sleep better at night time. So there's going to be 6 Q&A calls as well. So you can come onto them live with me if you want, or you can post in your questions. So I will answer them all. And that session is always filled up. Now, in addition to all of this, when you sign up on this program, you will also get to come to my workshop. It is the How to Get a Good Night's Sleep. So it's based on my book. I have had them in the Louis Fitzgerald Hotel in Newlands Cross in the past, or I might be changing the location. It is going to be on November. The day has to be set, but you are welcome to come along to that for free. If you can't make that workshop, you can come to another one that I'll be having. So you get to come to that for free as well. Now you will get lifetime membership to all the videos, so you will get access to everything forever once you sign up as well. Now the price for this program is $297. So if you're in Ireland, it converts to about 240, 250 euro. It is absolutely a very good offer, especially with all the bonuses that I have in this program. And I'm going to list them now. You'll get a free strategy call with me as well if you book tonight. So I will help you identify what it is that you need and really zone in. I can create the content to, if it's specific for you, I can add in or research some of the content that you need. Testimonials. This is Doug Gordon. He's a TV radio presenter on Dublin City FM. He says, I guarantee Joanne can help you. She's brilliant at wellness and she's a wonderful lady. So I was on his Inspirational People, Inspirational Stories radio show, I think it was last year now at this stage. And Pat Slattery, he was my mentor for a couple of years. Joanne has an incredible amount of knowledge and she really understands her clients' needs and can always come up with a solution. I highly recommend a consultation where she truly cares about serving her clients, and that's Pat Slattery. Karina Murray, if anyone is struggling to sleep, you've got to check out this lady, Joanne Callahan. She has the knowledge and she can seriously help you. And I'm delighted to be part of Karina's new academy. And she is helping young children through mental health issues. This is Leslie Feaker. He is he's over $100 million in sales. He lives in Canada. And I had the pleasure of speaking on stage with Leslie last year in the Talbot Hotel. He says, attend one of Joanne's events and you will come away amazed at what she knows about sleep and what you can learn about sleep. And Leslie is such a kind man. He's a beautiful soul. So here is everything that you will get. So you'll get the 12-week live with me. You'll get the workshop as well. You can email me anytime you want. You're going to get checklists. You're going to get food lists. You're going to get meditations, daytime and nighttime meditations. I'm also qualified aromatherapist, so I'm going to give you an e-guide on some blends. You're going to get a mini video series. And I'm actually adding an additional one. I've done a 7-day sleep challenge recently, so I'm going to add that in there as well. It's not on the list there, but you're going to get that as well. You'll have a sleep resource list. I have a Facebook community as well that you will be part of. Access to all the materials. You'll get an ebook, How to Get a Good Night's Sleep, and you will get a ticket to my next event, my next talk, my next seminar that I have coming up. So it will be starting on the 26th of September. And the first class will be the 3rd of October. Now, it will be weekly, but there is going to be a couple of classes where there will be a break of 2 weeks. So I'm not quite sure of the dates of those yet, but it will be starting on the 26th of September. And the first class is the 3rd of October. So the web link to go to is empoweringsleepsuccess.com. And I'm just going to bring it up here so you can click on it to check it out if you want. So you should be able to see that up there on your screen there now. So there it is there. So if you click on that, you'll go straight through to it. So at this point, I'm going to take some questions, and I have a question here from Olivia, and Olivia says, what about alcohol? Okay, so you must have put that in earlier. So I briefly touched on alcohol, about having a nightcap. So a nightcap is okay, a nod night here and there. Maybe you've had a stressful day and you find out it really helps you, but it's the consistency. If you're drinking alcohol every night as a nightcap, you know, it takes 1 hour for one glass of drink to metabolize. So if you're having one glass of wine, you can have it at, say, if you go to bed at 10 o'clock, have it at 9 o'clock, go to bed at 10. If you're having 2 glasses, you need 2 hours. Now, if you're drinking quite a lot and you're drunk, you're literally passing out. So this is what people ultimately, some people want when they're drinking alcohol, is to pass out. So yes, you will pass out, it will get you asleep, but it will not keep you asleep during the night time. You will probably sleep for the first half of the night, and then the second half of the night, you'll be waking up to go to the bathroom, and it will also be blocking your REM sleep. And your REM sleep, most of your REM sleep takes part in the second half of the night or the early morning. So this is where you'll have a lot of disturbed sleep when you drink alcohol. And also you're going to be dehydrated. Alcohol is a diuretic. The bathroom, you'll be going to the bathroom, and you'll wake up probably with a foggy head the next day, and you'll be more dehydrated as well. So alcohol is not a good idea to be doing consistently. Also with the nervous system, it sedates the nervous system. And if your nervous system has not been used for this part of the process of winding down, it's like your nervous system kind of forgets how to do it if you're having alcohol every single night. So your GABA is what helps you to wind down at night time. So again, an odd night is okay, but not consistently. Okay. And I have one other question here from Tracy. And Tracy is asking about sleeping tablets. Okay, Tracy, so sleeping tablets are, if you're desperate for a night's sleep, like I try to stay away from the sleeping tablets at all costs. There is a time and a place for them, but only short term, and all medication really is designed short term, but you need to see your physician if you are taking sleeping tablets. There are a lot of other ways and a lot of other things that you can do. A lot of the time people feel dependent on sleeping tablets. They say things, and this is coming back to the words again and using words, saying things like, I can't go to bed unless I have a sleeping tablet. So you're using it as a crutch. And this is when it becomes overly reliant on. But sleeping tablets are really only designed for short-term use. There is a time and a place for it. And there is a lot of people, there is, I think, 20% or 18 to 20% of people in Ireland are using sleeping tablets at the moment, which is kind of quite high. So there are other alternatives. CBT, cognitive behaviour therapy, is a good way, but you need to do it with your physician and be advised by him if you are currently taking sleeping tablets. Okay, so they're really all the questions that I have. So let me just go back to my screen here. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that. Okay, I've no other questions. So I'm going to log off and say goodbye to everybody at this point. And thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm absolutely delighted that you came on and took your time out. And we've only finished a minute over time, so not too bad. So check out empoweringsleepsuccess.com. Just check it out. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care and have a great evening. Bye now.